As always, don't forget to check the video description down below for the best price on tools and parts I use for today's video. Today, we have an Acura MDX. We're going to be looking at the rear, brake pads, and rotors. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out a bunch. Thank you so much. So, first thing we got to do is raise the vehicle, and right up under there is a good spot. Jack stand, you could put right up under here would be fine. Just kind of set the jack back down on the jack stand to keep it nice and sturdy. We're gonna start by taking the wheel off, and it's, what is it, 7/8. 7/8 are probably like a 22mm socket to take these lug nuts off. I already got mine started and taken off, and then I'm gonna just, bam, I'm gonna smack it like that. Go ahead and set this off to the side. You can use the wheel as like a seat to sit onto, and I'll set them down. There we go. Now, man, this looks rough. First thing, we're gonna take this caliper off, and we'll get to the pads. Hopefully you can see that's a 12mm, and then that should be a 17 or a 19. I'm not taking my rotor off, but I'm gonna show you everything you need to know. And let's grab some ratchets and the new pads. Then I love to put those little new brake clips on there. Helps the pads slide easier, and then you don't have to, I don't grease them if I put the new whatever they're called, I don't know, brake hardware, that's what they're called. So now we got my 12. I'm gonna go ahead and get on here. Oh, this time we're coming up the other side is going down. All right. So that one off, and then get this one in. And then I'm gonna grab on this caliper, I'm gonna pull it towards me. What that's gonna do is compress the piston a little bit, makes it easier to take that off. Then let's look at our pads here. Bam. Okay, cool. They're not metal to metal. He said, yeah, they're grinding, but fortunately, he did not get down to the metal, which means we can reuse the rotors. This thing's a little bugger. There we go. Now we're gonna measure our rotors. These rotors, 9mm minimum thickness. That's what it says right along there. And then to do that, where's my little, oh, all right. I thought I was doing a once through, but I had to find my handy dandy measurer. So we can measure these. My philosophy on this, while I measure it, zero it out, zero, is replace them every other time. So your first brake job, new rotors and pads. Second brake job, just pads. Next job, new rotors, and so forth. They're so affordable now. Link below in the video description for a pads and rotor package. A lot of times, like, you know, anywhere from $50 to $80. So we're just gonna put this right up against here, and we're gonna see it's 10mm. So that is plenty to just put pads on. These being old and rusty, sometimes it'll still make noise. You see like a little bit of a rust lip, and then they can be warped a little bit. That's why I always just recommend new rotors every other time. That's what we do for customers and in my own personal life. So then, got all of our hardware stuff here. We're gonna take, these have the little wear pads, or not the little wear pads, the wear indicators. And we can see this one, it was sitting like that, so just make sure you put your little wear indicator on there, and then it just basically snaps on. And then I'm gonna just take two hands, pull that off, bam, pull that off, and then, oh, wrong way. And then I'm gonna blow. I know y'all couldn't see that, but I just basically blew the little dust off, and then I'm gonna snap it in. Boom. This one, oh, this one's kind of bent. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, you just work it in there. Do the same for the top. Where'd my little piece go? I'm trying to like look up at my head to see where I'm at here. There we go. Sorry, I know it's shaky, but at least you get to see everything. And I got two hands. Now we're gonna take our new pads, and since we put the brake hardware in there, you do not have to grease it. I'm gonna just reach back there. These ones aren't any kind of funny, crazy way, so just slide right in there, and then boom, boom. booger. Being a little, and there we go. So not too bad. You can see they're both in there good. Now, next thing we gotta do, we're gonna take your caliper, and we have to send the piston back home, because if we don't, it's not gonna slide over the new ones. And my little C-clamp sitting over here. Boom. We're also gonna check the slide pins. If they don't slide, you wanna grease them. The way you check your slide pins is just grab a hold of it, pull it back and forth. That one's pretty good. You can grease it if you want. This one is kind of stuck. So this one, take 2 fingers. I'm gonna have to grab a pair of vice grips, grab onto it, twist it, pull out. You could do a YouTube search, Fixbook stuck slide pin or Fixbook slide pin. It'll show you a method to get these out if they're really stuck on there. But now we're gonna take this caliper, put our old pad up in there, and we're gonna take this C-clamp and we're gonna compress it all the way back up in there. And then we'll be able to put the caliper over the new pads. I used to tell people, do it slow. I mean, you do kind of need to do it slow, but you just put it back up in there. I've never seen one give me a problem. Might just be because I'm in North Carolina and there's not much rust, but they always just go back in there for me. So there's that. Now we would just put this guy back on. I'm gonna have to do some work with my slide pin, but you go ahead and put your bolts back in, tighten it back up, make sure you put your wheel back on, make sure you let it down, and that is it, y'all. Not too bad. Oh, the rotor. If you do need to take the rotor off, I'm sorry I mentioned that. There's a special tool. I'm gonna go show you that special tool real quick. This is gonna be the hardest part of the rotor right here, is taking these screws out. Then you got on the back side, when you had your pads out, you're gonna want to take this caliper bracket here. This caliper bracket comes off. It's the only thing blocking the rotor in there. And you have, it's probably 17 or 19. You take that one off, you take that one off, this caliper bracket will slide right off. Then the rotor, it's 2 screws. Now you think, oh yeah, I'll just take a little screwdriver. No, that's not gonna work. They're gonna be stuck in there. If you're lucky, it's been done before and they didn't put the screws back in, because you don't actually need the screws. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna get you a little, where is it? A little impact. Okay, so got the little impact screwdriver. Get your little Phillips head tip in there, and then you'll get a big, I always use a 4-pound hammer. And the way the impact screwdriver works is you stick it in there and then twist which way you want it to go. I don't see why you'd ever need it right, but so you're gonna twist left, you're gonna hold it in there, and bam, bam, bam. And what's happening when you do that is when it hits, it's pushing down and it's gonna be spinning the screw left. It's gonna push and spin left. So what you're doing is you're holding it in there with the strength of a hammer blow while it's twisting, which will allow you to take these out. If not, if you don't have this, you could spend 30 minutes with a flathead screwdriver and a hammer and bang, 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 like that, and just pull it out that way. I've done that in tight places before when I did not have an impact screwdriver. So then this guy will just pull off. I imagine there's some kind of parking brake drum inside of there. May not be. You don't have to replace that if you don't want to. You don't typically use your parking brake. Yeah, it's got that, so I know it's in there. There's drum brakes inside there. But that's not the brakes your car uses. Your car uses these. This is only for parking, and for the life of your car, you're probably never going to use those things. You can, but anyways, that's it. So you'll just take that off. You'll put your new rotor back on over the parking brakes. I wouldn't even worry about adjusting it or anything. Never had a problem with that. I never adjust them. And then put your caliper back on, screws back on, wheel back on, make sure everything's good and tight, and that is it, guys. That's how you replace these rear pads and rotors. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.